I want to take people and like shake them and say, guys, try it, it will change your life. My first desire to learn highline was handling my brain and my tears and my fears. It's a strong passion you have at first that cannot last for 10 years because you would be like a lemon juice without juice anymore.
In the Highline Festival, I sat down to talk to Louise Lenoble, one of the pioneers of highlining as we know it today. Louise is well recognized for her achievements in freestyle highlining. She has been one of the first women to push this discipline and has been doing this since 2016. She's also a world champion, taking the freestyle highline title in 2022 and being the vice champion in 2024. Beyond competitions, Louise brings highlining to audiences around the globe as part of the performance group Houle Douce and also other groups. In her shows, she's blending movement and artistry in ways few others do. In our conversation, we talk about passion, fear, pushing yourself, and a lot more. I think you'll really enjoy it, and I hope you'll be as inspired as I was.
How did you start slacklining?
So I started in Strasbourg. When I look through my window in my flat where I was a student, there was a park, and I saw a big like rope hanging in a tree. It was actually a huge rodeo line, but I didn't know back then. I have already seen in the past slackline between trees, but I was like, this is weird. But when I saw this guy doing this huge rodeo, I was like, wow, this is impossible what he's doing. And I went down my flat, I went to speak with him, I was super impressed. And he told me what was slacklining. And it was in 2016. And 2 or 3 weeks later, this guy, he brought me to Natural Game Festival. And back then there was still highline in the festival. It was in La Jonte. It was a beautiful area. It's not allowed to rig the line there usually, just during the festival. So I entered in a world where I knew nothing. I was not a climber, like I didn't know anything about rope. I was a total newbie. I didn't know no one. And I was 22 years old maybe, or 24. And so I saw people walking in the air on a thin, like, textile thing. And I was like, they are aliens. They are not human, you know, because it was so scary. I saw them walking and I would imagine myself, I was like shaking. And then these people, they told me, you can try if you want. Like, we can give you a harness. I had almost never put a harness in my life. So I was like, okay, I put the harness, I go on this, they explained me, I go on the high line, it was 30 meters long, super exposed and high, close to the cliff. And so I trust them because I know nothing with the gear, and I go on the line. And it was so scary, like really. And then they tell me, you can try to do this and this. I just kept the hangover, it was not even a hangover back then, it was a pulley. And yeah, I went out of the line and then I sit and I started crying, but you know, I couldn't, like, I was not like sad, but just I think it was a fear and emotions. And I was like, wow, this is so strong. If like this activity brings me so much emotion, which I cannot control, I want to dig and understand. Like from that moment, I was like, I'm gonna give a try to slackline. And so I did the whole festival, and actually I twisted my ankle because I was trying slackline, and slackline is above the ground. So yeah. Yeah, but I also remember something in this festival which was crazy for me. You know how our festival, we are all used to see highline, so we don't really pay attention of our exceptionalities anymore. But me, I never saw a highline. I climb the mountain, I arrive and I see a highline like this here, super exposed. And I was like, oh my God, guys, there is someone walking, like, oh, he's gonna fall. I was like scared. And I look around me and no one is watching. They were just talking together. I was like you don't realize how incredible and exceptional this is, you know. And then I realized that there was really a big gap between me and these aliens. And I was like, okay, they are like me. I need to try to understand how they handle their feeling and how they do, because I'm able to do like them, because I'm human as well. Even so, it seemed like impossible, you know. So from that, I did a lot of slackline in the park for like 2 months to be ready for my first, again, highline in Verdon.
2016, that's a long time ago. What was different back then?
So back then, the world record for male was 1 kilometer, and the female one, I think, was less, maybe 170. So back then I was going on highline that were 200 meters, and people would tell me, if you cross it, you have the world record, you know. And now it's 2 kilometers. Is it the world record for female? So yeah, I started my slackline journey with more the walking like than freestyle, because also freestyle was so new. I think I arrived right at the moment where we switched from line being really tension with tension backup, from the curtain backup, as we call it. I never knew the tension line. There is an animal. But I remember I improved really fast, because I was my mind was white from this past technique with tension line. And I started straight with the loose line. So people were impressed from my progression, because usually to cross 50-meter line, it takes a long time when it's tension backup and tension line. But in fact, you know, when the curtain, with the curtain backup and more loose line, it's not that inaccessible. Also, because the line got loose, the bounce appeared, and so I started at that moment. And for me, I didn't know it was crazy to bounce, because to bounce on tension line with tension backup, it was crazy. And also to take a leash fall. Like the first leash fall from Sam, back then, they were like, don't put them online, it's dangerous, like you don't want to see that. But me, I started without that knowledge, so I didn't know it was dangerous. Not dangerous, but like scary to take leash falls. Like I started my practice with taking many leash falls. I didn't know I had to be scared of it. In fact, I was like, I need to take 1,000 leash fall before do my first step. So I was going on any kind of length of line and like just going and bouncing them from the start, like it was 150 meters. And so I learned to bounce from the beginning because I couldn't walk. And also to surf, because I was like falling and I was like, I have no time to wait for the line to stop surfing. I just want to stand. So I actually learned to bounce and surf quite early in my progression, in the same time than walking. And yeah, but I think from that day it was weird to see someone like the newbie like me and others that started at that moment. We were like not doing the normal progression, like doing 20, like sending without falling 20 meters, then 30, then 50. We would be unable to walk and make a step, but we would go on a 100, 500 meter line and just bounce them. My friends, they used to say that I was doing full Louise instead of full man, because I would go on any line and I would just cross them, but on my ass, because I would like try to do a chongo, fell, and each chongo I would like move from 20 centimeters, and I would just cross the line like that and like do like long lines like that and stay for like 2 or 3 hours. And yeah, so my friend with who I was slacklining were like, oh, you did a full Louise again. And I had bruise all over, like it was crazy. I was not paying attention with my body safety, but I was just addicted, and I remember Rory taking my harness and hiding it in front, on top of a tree. The first time we had finally rigged a 300-meter line, but I was like destroyed and blue, and he was like, "You cannot go on it." And I was like, "Give me back my harness."
What influence did slacklining have on your life?
Oh, when I started, I was a medical student, so I was on my 5th year of studies, and I had decided to stop my studies already because for many reasons I wanted to do something else. But it was correlated with the time I discovered slackline, and I think if I didn't have this strong and activity for my mind, I'm not sure I would have held my decision of stopping to my medical studies, because I had to keep doing my studies for 1 year with knowing I would stop, but it was a hard decision to keep. And everyone around me was like, "You're doing a mistake," beside my parents. Maybe I was lucky with them. So it was hard, and whenever I was feeling low, I was like, "Don't worry, you will highline this weekend." And I was like, what you do on the highline the weekend is so incredible, and you are so strong that you can do everything and you can keep this decision. For all my life, I knew what would happen in the next 5 or 10 years, and then I had to, maybe for people it could be nothing, but for me it was big to go in the unknown. And I think like highline helped me to like take a different path and to keep my decision with it, for sure. So yeah, it gives me a lot of mental strength. And whenever I doubt in my life, still today, I'm like, but you can do anything, you did it already. You thought it was impossible, and even today I still have this feeling inside me. But I guess from outside, people see me as a strong highliner in the sport or freestyle, or also that I live from it now. It's been 4 years, it's my main job to highline and do show. But I'm not sure I really realize and I see it like that. It's just like highlining for me is just a mental and more than a job or anything. And if tomorrow I don't do highline anymore for sure, I know I have the strength to do anything else, because highline gave me this strength. And also, as I said before, it gave me the taste of passion. So whatever I do, I know I want to be passionate about it, and feel strong about it. Like, for instance, I love knitting. It's my secret passion. And when I knit, I feel so good, so I know it's not something you see from outside, like impressive or with fear, but I want to feel strong about the stuff I do. If someone likes to cook, he needs to feel strong about cooking, and it doesn't need to be impressive. And I think my main message for everyone would be, I felt strong about highlining as a passion, but you don't need to do highline to feel strong. It was just my way to feel strongly passionate. But the same strong passion, you can have it with anything. Like if you read a good book, and I don't think I have this all the time. Of course, sometimes I'm just tired, or for months I don't feel like that. But I know it's there, and I will always come back to it.
What are some important moments that you remember?
For my first desire to learn highline was handling my brain and my tears and my fears that were really, really hard. And this gave me so much strength in my daily life, normal life outside highline. So this was an important step, I think, in my 10 years highlining. Actually, it was for me my best time of slacklining was when I had to deal with my fear. And also I realized in my practice today, I still always look for that again, because it was why I love highlining at first. So I went with my accordion when I was not scared again, with my violin. This I was crying out of fear again the first time, because I was super scared, or starting to do show was scary again. Like recently it's more doing the tandem that were scary at first because you start from the beginning again and you are scared to hit each other. Yeah, I think in my highline practice I always try to find again these first feelings, and I always kind of envy the beginner when I see them dealing with their fear. I'm like, just enjoy it because it will never be the same again and it's your moment. But I know it's also nice to have no more fear and you open new door to the technique that is fun as well. But yeah, I think it should not be rushed, and so that was a big step. But then also when people started to not trust me, but tell me that I was going fast in my progression, and they were like, oh, do you want to come to China to compete? I was like highlining since less than a year, like it was April 2017. I was like, what? Okay, I just had done a backbones in Verdun a few days, weeks before, and there was this highline, first freestyle highline competition ever. So they invited the Chinese 30 highliners from all over the world, and they were like the big star, and I was like impressed. They were like just Mia Noble, me and Mimi Guédon as a woman, but Mia and Mimi were more going to do the long highlines. I was like more invited as the freestyler, you know, but I was a beginner. And I was next to Sam or like Julien Desforges and all those crazy slackliners. So yeah, this was an important moment because I met a lot of people, and I feel I was really lucky in all my progression with the meeting I had, and yeah. But I also know it's not only luck, and I manage my life to have this time for slackline. Like you have to make concession if you do highline. It's not like it was coming to me. I was highlining all the time, traveling all the time.
What's the craziest line you've been on?
Yeah, I think it was in Norway actually. It was not my longest highline, but I think back then I was also still new, and it was the first time I saw a long highline. So we went in Norway to reach the world record in 2018, was it? So, or 19, I was like 2 or 3 years highliner. And the line was 3 kilometers long. So, no, 2.9. It was Sam's project, and he invited 30 highliners from everywhere. And we rigged this 2.9 kilometer line that was a world record for guys. And next to it, we rigged a 1 kilometer line that was a world record for a girl. So we spent 4 or 5 days rigging first the line for the guy. It was complicated, we had to do it again. Super tiring as well, but super like crazy experience. And then the line for guy was up, and the next day we rigged the line for the girl. We were not so many girls in the project, and there were Mia, of course. So Mia go first. Actually, she go after Lucas, but that's another story. But she goes, and she sends the line, and I'm sitting at the anchor and watching that. I see Mia like doing the world record, and I'm like so impressed. First time I see this line. We are tired after 5 or 6 days of rigging. It's late. It's like maybe 6 p.m. We had a long day or even more. And then they say, okay, so now another girl go on the line, and I didn't expect to go on it at all. And there was Sarah next to me, and we were like, okay, rock, paper, scissors to know who goes. And I was like, rock, paper, scissors, and I won. And I was like, oh my God, I'm going on a kilometer line.
You've also been the first woman to land several tricks. What was maybe your proudest trick, and how was the process to land it?
I think every time you do a new stuff, you think you are the proudest, and so my first like even backbones, I was like proud, you know. If I had to choose one, maybe the Almighty, because it was super symbolic. And I remember when I saw a guy doing it in a video, so Axel, I was like, impossible, you know. So maybe it's a trick. When I saw it, I was like, this was not allowed on a highline. So I was like, how is it possible? And so that I've done it after, whatever if I was first or not, like I was so proud to land it. The funny story is that I call it the all my tits because I landed without my shirt. So tits out. And yeah, I didn't want to do that. It's just I was trying for 3 days to do the tricks, and it was my last session. I had tried like 50 times. I wanted to go out. I tell to my friend, I'm too hot, I'm tired, I'm not gonna do it this time. And they were like, come on, remove your shirt if you are hot and just try again. And then I tried 3 times and I landed the first female almighty, but like topless. And I was like, oh wow, what did I do? Because I knew it's a big thing for the community and I want to share it, to inspire other people to do it, but like my tits are out and I know I don't want them to go all over internet. So yeah, actually Dan blurred it because I asked him and then I share it.
And you just mentioned that you've been able to live from it now, doing shows. Can you give us insights how that developed?
So at first it was just a group of slackliners that create an association to do a nice highline in Marseille, so Houle Douce. And I didn't know them, but then I met them and they told me to do show with them. And they pushed me to do crazy creative stuff with the sport, actually. Also with Sam, because Sam was like telling me to come and do some performance sometimes. But yeah, it was never really a job. I was just like going because it was fun and interesting. But then I did more and more and more, and I got paid for it more and more. And then it became my main job. I was a nurse as well. So after my medical study, I became a nurse. And I was working like the winter as a nurse, and like the whole year I was just highlining. And so I had money to like spend time without earning money as well for a while and doing just show. But then with this energy I gave into it, it became my job as well now. And it's cool, I like it. Also, whenever I do a show, I'm on the line, and I know if it would be just my performance on the line without the music, like the whole story before or after, or the people doing stuff around, it would not have the same meaning at all, and it would not be that beautiful. And every time I'm like, wow, it's so cool. It's all the pieces that come together, and it's like my performance on the line or with others is more beautiful because we are a group and we put everything together. And
how does it feel like that your passion is now also your work? Is it sometimes difficult, or is it just a lot of fun to do what you like as work?
No, it's totally difficult as well, because what you see from outside is actually the show, but the reality is that 90% of the job is spent creating, so that's fun as well, but still it takes time. And also like doing computer a lot, and so I'm lucky because I do it with a team and we spread the work as well. Like I don't do the administrative part. Like many professional highliner do everything on their own, and I'm impressed by them because I could not do this alone. But yeah, no, for sure it's also work. Like last August I did 7 shows in 1 month, and just 2 were the same. So I did so many kilometers all over, and I had to switch in my mind the show, and so it was super fun and incredible, but super tiring as well. Like I think the most tiring is actually the trip. Like when you are doing the project is cool, but yeah, it can be intense as well. And sometimes I try to remember that I'm lucky to do it when I'm tired. And it's also when I do show, I go in place where people are there to have fun or like to relax. And so I'm surrounded by people super intense in their energy, and me, if it's been many in a row, I have to like save myself as well, but I learn more and more. And but last year we did quite a nice line, and which I'm really proud of. It was in Chamonix for la fête des guides, and it's with a circuit extremist, so with a hot balloon, and with Dan we rigged the highline from building to the hot balloon, but we rigged it in live during the show, so it was a lot of brainstorming before, and so the balloon goes up during the show, there is all the public, and so the balloon is always fixed with rope to the ground, and we rigged the line live. We had preset everything, so it was quite fast. So the balloon is up for maybe 45 minutes, so we rig the line, tension it, I'm on the balloon, Dan is in the building, and we rig the line between the balloon and the building. He does one crossing, go out, we de-rig, and actually there was a DJ set under the balloon in the same time. And it's the end of the DJ set, and it was hanging under the balloon. And the balloon goes down, and so it was super technical, and I don't think the public realized that it was actually a rigging show.
There was a video on Instagram where the hot air balloon popped up and you were flying
Yeah.
like, on the balloon. That was real.
Yeah, of course.
That looked so crazy.
So actually this video was filmed the same day than the show I'm telling you about, because before this highline we did the whole show, which is called Exit from Cirque Extremist, and there is many stunts in the show, and the first stunt of the show is actually this stunt. And I had never done it, but the guy who was supposed to do it was not there that time, so I was supposed to do it. We had no time to rehearse because the wind was too strong, so we could not inflate the balloon. And the morning there was one window where we could do it, but with Dan we were super focused on the rigging of this highline, and I was not thinking about myself doing this new stunt. I knew the technique, it's not complicated, so. But then my friend said, "Oh Louise, it would be nice if you try the stunt before the show anyway, like that you try it once, because when we play it's in the dark, it's nice if I try." So I was just like in rigging mode and like, okay, let's try it. And then the balloon, I do it. And my friend, she just filmed it with her phone and post it online. And I think it has more than 200 million views. I stopped counting, it's just insane. But yeah, people still send it to me every week. And I'm like, it's just the first stunt of the show. It exists since years, you know, and I think it was just the moment for it to become viral, I guess. Yeah.
You've also competed a lot. I mean, you've won the World Championship, you've been second last year. What motivates you to compete, and what are your thoughts before competition?
For me, competition has started less serious than a World Cup. So it was my first one was actually in 2017 in China, where I was a beginner with only guy. So I was in a mixed competition with a big machine, so I had no pressure. It was just a game, you know, and I was just talked to that we were all together to share and like share our passion and discover stuff together. So all my first competition were with this mindset, because the next one were always mixed, and it was in Moleson. There were always more and more girls, but I think I started freestyling before a bit everyone, so I improved faster, and I had a higher level than other people when I started, and so I never felt the competition my first years of highline. When the more serious competition arrived, I was still in this game mindset, I would say. And also I had nothing to prove, I would say, because I was feeling already I knew I was good, and so for myself or other, I was just like, I was more competing against myself to push my limits than against others. Even right now, it's still like that, I would say, like, I know I can do bad or good depending of or no, depending on how I feel. Like if I have my period, like actually in the last lax, I was like, okay, I have my period, I'm tired, it's intense. Whatever happen, I know it's just against other, but myself as well, and I don't have so much pressure, and I take it as a game.
Yeah.
And also, I guess I started to do show before the competition became serious, and shows are so much more stressful. They were actually when I started, because it's like you do it for your job and for people, and you have your act and you want it to be perfect, you know. And if I don't do, no, I'm not like this anymore, but in show before I was like, if I make a mistake, like the whole show is shit, you know. And now I realize that it's not true at all, because it's wrapped in a whole show and there is not only my performance. But before I had this mindset, and so I was putting a lot of pressure on myself. And so compared to this, like for me, the competition were less stressful, because I was more like, okay, this is not my job. I come here to have fun. I feel the pressure, but it's not overloading me like I could have had in show. Also, I had done a lot of competition when I was a kid with running. And when I was a kid, I would be super stressed, like vomiting of fear. I was pretty good with running. So I learned to handle the competition stress back then as well. I do the best of myself, because I work pretty well with the pressure. I'm a showgirl. I like when people watch. I like to give. Because highline changed my life, and I feel so much from highline. I know people who are not able to highline, if they watch me doing highline, they get a bit of what I experience. So I feel this in the competition. I feel like a show part in the competition to give to people and inspire people who will never go on highline and feel the excitement and the sport. Yeah.
What's the worst advice that people give for highlining?
Like the first one that popped to my mind is maybe to see people who don't care enough with the security. It's not an advice I give, but it's just a behavior they have. And I think with the time passing, I'm more and more scared about like the rigs and the way people would behave around highline. But maybe it's the same than it was 10 years ago, you know, it's just my eyes that are different with experience. Yeah. So I guess the worst advice people give is like behaving not good around highline, even if they feel confident to be barefoot or whatever barefoot, but be close to the void and not be careful. If there is like a kid that walk around or a beginner, they will think it's the way to do, and it's not. Or like if people go on the line without body check because they are like, I don't need a body check. It's okay if you don't need it, but just ask anyway, because if you ask, the person who you are asking to will be like, it's true, I need to ask as well, you know. And yeah, I will never forget when I was a total beginner, I was with Pablo Signore in Verdon, and he was like the world record guy. I was sitting next to him and he was asking me for a body check. I was like, are you asking me for a body check? You? But I don't even know how to rig, but it marked me, you know.
What's the best advice?
Yeah, I think it's a bit cliche maybe, but it's the most important to have fun. And if you feel pressure, it's good because it makes you become better. But if it's too much pressure, it's like to remember that it's just a passion, and that you do it for yourself and not for others. And also with highline, we all have different background. Some people take 2 years to stand, some people take 1 session. And if you compare yourself to others, it's not gonna work, because everyone has its own story and deal with its fear differently. And yeah, it's your own journey and not someone else's journey. And if you are scared now, like enjoy how scared you are, because one day you will not be scared anymore and you will miss it.
What is your favorite freestyle trick?
I always had a crush with everything on the back, like from the start. I think one of my first tricks was the back bounce. It was my in the Verdon 100 meter. Super late timing, but I managed to stand. Super fast bounce because I were like a polyester line. But yeah, I always like the back stuff tricks, so back bounce and back roll 2 feet and back flip, and like right now I learned recently the like real macaco berimbau flip that my brother was doing, and I really like today I would say it's my favorite tricks with the back flip. But I don't know, all the tricks where you go back like that.
What is your motivation right now?
That's a good question. In 10 years of slackline, I feel the wave of motivation that are different, and I think the first time it was hard for me to realize I didn't have the same strong like energy and passion. It's not stable, you know, and I also missed it in a way because it's like a drug, you know. And when you are in the slackline world, you are always surrounded by people that have this right now at that moment. And so you're like, wow, I miss it, why I'm not like this anymore. But now I understand that it's just waves, and like highlining was really the center of my life for many years, and it built who I am today. It's almost 1/3 of my life that I know the waving, you know, and I'm so like forever grateful for this community and this activity, what it brought me. But I also know I discover what is passion thanks to this, and I'm open to any other like passion, and I know how strong I can feel for a passion, so I will not expect less than I can have from a passion. Now that I discover how strong it can be, you know. I think I also kept the passion high and motivation high, like the wave coming up and back, and because I switched my practice from like walking to like bouncing, freestyling, like then doing shows for other, like giving to other, bringing the slackline down for the public, like doing tandem. It's always looking for new way to practice. And also I have always a metaphor for the slackline that I used to say. Maybe it's a bit weird, and I hope I will explain it well, but my experience with slackline was comparable. For the only comparison I had was love I could feel for someone in a relationship when I started, because it was so strong. It's like passion, pure passion. Like you think about it all the time, you dream about it, you just want to do that. Like you think of the love person, like you are in love, you know. I was like, wow, I'm in love actually with an activity. And you know, like the strong passion you have the first like months, I know everyone can relate with that. I had it for highlining, like it was the center of my life. And now I'm still in a relationship with highline, but it's just a 10 years relationship. So I still love it even more deeply than before, but it's not like the passion, like the strong passion you have at first that cannot last for 10 years because you would be like a lemon juice without juice anymore, like tired, not tired, but yeah, it's just deeper. And we are highlining and me, we know we are here, we know each other, we'll be always there for each other, but I don't need to do it every day anymore. Even if I don't do it for 2 months, it's fine, it's still there forever.
What's your wish for the future of the sport?
I think it's like I thought forever, like highline was really personal for me, even so I don't, you are always with others, and it changed my life. And since the beginning I'm like, I want to take people and like shake them and say, guys, try it, it will change your life. So forever, I think I had as a goal to make people try highlining. Maybe I like it when I do show and people, because I bring a highline in place where people don't see it usually. It's not like there is a hiker that is more likely to see a highline or a climber. Like when you do show, you go in city, you meet like kids that watch the show, and at the end of the show they come and they say, like you are like, what did you like the most? I like the most when I see the girl on the line, you know. And when a little girl says that, I'm like, you can do it too. And yeah.
If you were known for only one thing, what is the thing people should know you for?
For sure, people know me for freestyle, but I hope they know me for something else as well. Like mostly when I started, like when I was going out of a line, sometimes girls they would come and tell me that I inspired them to start, and still today, like every time I go in a festival, there is people who tell me that they started highline and see me from the start, and I'm really proud of that. And I'm like, you don't know how happy it makes me, because I'm just giving back what people gave me. Because as I said before, everything I did on a highline, I did it because I saw someone doing it and I was like inspired as well. So I'm just sharing the inspiration, and this person will share it as well, for sure. We have an incredible community, and if I kept doing highline for so long as a sport, it's because of the community, for sure. Like online community and real community. Because online community is an incredible way to share like the stroke all over the world. It's crazy. Like back then it was like more on Facebook, now it's more on Instagram. But yeah, like the community is great. And whenever I work and I do show for like months, I don't do the sport side of slackline or highline, and I kind of don't meet the community. And if I go back to a festival or I just go and rigger highline and do the sport again, I remember like how lucky we are to have this incredible community. Like, yeah, wherever you go, you travel, you have a family, you have a place to go, people you don't know, like you go to their grandmother, they show you the best highline spots. Yeah, it's the best, it's equal than the passion is like the family. Yeah, for sure.
Well, I'm super happy to have done this. Even if the video is bad, I learned so much. It was so much fun.
Hey, but the video is great, I think.
If you want to find Louise, you can follow her on Instagram under @Louise_Lenoble, or you can check out Houle Douce, also on Instagram under @Houle Douce, or on their website houledouce.com. I'm also gonna link all of this below.
Thank you for filming.
Thank you, man. Man, it's gonna take you so long to watch all of this again.